Welcome to another message from Church History, class number 122. This is the best set of classes that I've ever done, and I'm extremely excited about it. We have people on televisits also as we're doing this, along with our church here. And in between services a while ago, I had to go fix lunch and have lunch. And I was working on the computer, ripping sermons and things off of the DVDs and whatever, and I told Marilyn, I want you to hear Dud Pointer's voice. Dud Pointer is all over this book. He's all over this book. And he introduced me to the presbytery when I was ordained in 1972, I think it was, January the 6th or something. And his voice was on there. I went in there to the website and I pushed it on to my old-time ordination service of Dr. Jim Phillips, Pastor Jim Phillips, I think. And me and Doug McLaughlin, we were ordained at the same time. Anyway, here came his voice at about the 2-minute point, and he talked to about 6 minutes or so altogether. And I was so thrilled to hear that man's voice. This is a legend. Dud Pointer was a legend. I knew his family. I was his pastor. He was my pastor. I preached for him in his churches, and he said all of this. And it was wonderful hearing his voice again, because I'm going to tell you something. That was a pioneer in California missionary Baptist and Southern Baptist work. The Southern Baptists would not give him credit like he did. They always had to play him down as a landmarker, which he was. That means that he believed like a Baptist. Southern Baptists were laying traditions aside and going on, well, the doctrines aside, and going on with open communion and alien immersion because they could get people come in. And the Southern Baptists did steal missionary Baptist or landmark churches. They did. And not only did they steal the churches, but they sold Northern Baptist churches also. And one of the reasons why, and they even stole some Methodist churches. And they began to bring this Northern Baptist baptism into the Southern Baptist ranks, and which nullified their baptism, the authority of it, in all reality, because they could get whole churches. But the people didn't want to be baptized again, so they'd accept their baptism. And that's what we're talking about all the way through here. The real point, the Baptist point, is close communion, that only the members of that church take communion with you. And it's not open to anybody that comes to the church, but to their members. And they usually have it on Sunday night also, or Wednesday night. Not in the daytime, not on Sunday morning. Protestants have it on Sunday morning. Baptists have it on Sunday night or Wednesday night. Simple as that. And alien immersion, that you'll only accept baptism from a Baptist church that has a lineage going back to Christ in what they teach by doctrine. Northern Baptists don't have it. Methodists don't have it. Episcopalians, Presbyterians, none of these have it. Of course, some of them are sprinkling for baptism, which is totally abrupt from what the Bible teaches. So that's what we're studying here, and we've been going through this. I'm not reading all of the Baptist churches that they founded in California, but just the ones that I know about. These are the ones I preached in my life. See, I'm beyond the 75-year mark. I'm going toward 80 now, and I'm an old man. And so I remember a lot of these things. You can hear them on my ordination service. You can hear my former pastor preaching this sermon. We would have had Dud Pointer do it, but he was not able to. He barely could introduce me to the presbytery and Doug. Now let's go back here on page 374 and 375. Let's go back and look at some of these. Some of these churches, the missionary Baptists and Southern Baptists before 1950 or 1940 were the same. The Southern Baptist Convention sent out missionaries by the convention. And the Southern Baptist Convention looked down upon the landmarks because they sent them out by churches, but they both sent missionaries out. And they would call the landmark or missionary Baptists anti-missionary. Hogwash. That's a lie. Not true at all. American Baptist Association. There's lots of different associations, Independent Baptist, all of these. Some Baptists will not affiliate, they're totally independent, they won't affiliate with any association or convention because all of them send out missionaries. What they do is send out missionaries from the church and start churches. All of them are missionary, that's why you call the word missionary Baptist. They believe in sending missions, they believe in starting churches, they believe in getting people saved. The first Southern Baptist Church in Hawthorne was organized July the 11th, or June the 11th, 1944, with 28 charter members, at which time the name Hawthorne Missionary Baptist Church was adopted. The name was changed to Southern Baptist in 1950. Remember 1950? That's a very important time. That's when the Convention Baptists, or the Southern Baptist Convention, started taking alien immersion. And then the ABA and the different associations of Baptists would not accept Southern Baptist baptism after that because they opened it up. And we'll understand why, because we're going to find them bringing in Northern Baptist churches. The first pastor was M.D. Smarr, and then K.L. Brummett, who 1951, then Dwayne R. Clinton, Henry R. Samples. Like many other congregations, the church had been plagued by internal strife, but there was evidence that harmony had been restored and growth resumed. The present membership is 116. The internal strife is arguments over alien immersion and open communion. And the Southern Baptists were beginning to do that. And the Old Baptists were not doing it. And so they're not progressive, they're ignorant, they're anti-missionary because they won't take alien immersion and have open communion. Hollydale First Baptist Church. Hollywood Slavic Baptist Church. Hollywood First Southern Baptist Church. These are all down in that area that was started. And Lawndale, Inglewood, Huntington Park, that's where you lived, Maryland, at one time. And then we have the Alameda First Baptist Church. I believe I preached in the Alameda Church a long time ago. The First Baptist Church in Alameda did not begin as a Southern Baptist Church, but was organized out of a Sunday school class which was started in the home of C.S. Brenhart in 1942. Harold Illert became the pastor in 1945 and served until June 1948. 1948, the church called Clarence D. Scott, under whose leadership the church affiliated with the Los Angeles Association and the State Southern Baptist Conventions. A lot of these were going missionary Southern, missionary Baptist, Southern Baptist, and the Southern Baptists would, when they take over a missionary Baptist church, they'd have them drop the missionary name, because that would align them with the American Baptist Association and the missionary Baptists. Even though both of them at one time had stopped the same thing. One of the greatest missionary Baptists of all times was J.R. Graves. He wrote a tremendous amount of material. Pendleton, these guys, they were missionary Baptists. But they just laid aside all the things. You know what, J.R. Graves, the one that started the word, move not the ancient landmarks. The Alameda Narbonne Avenue Church. The Long Beach First Southern Baptist Church. Long Beach Truett Memorial Church. These are all churches that started back then. Long Beach Walnut Avenue Church. Long Beach White Temple Baptist Church. Now let's look at this. Here's one that was stolen. Here's the church that was stolen. Right here. I tell you this. I told you I'm telling you the good, the bad, and the ugly about church history. White Temple Baptist Church in Long Beach is proof that Southern Baptist churches are not the only ones that split for the White Temple congregation, the result of a split in Trinity Baptist Church, which is affiliated with American Baptist Convention. This is a Northern Baptist church. So they would lower their standards to accept these people into it. The organization meeting was March 7th, 1950, or May the 7th, 1950, with 144 members, including the pastor, Virgil H. Fisher, withdrew from the American Baptist group in order to form a Southern Baptist church. They stole the church. Basically is what happened. The church was organized. Fisher became the pastor and the membership 294 and worshipped in that building, which has been purchased from another denomination. Los Angeles Bethel Baptist Church. Los Angeles Bethel Baptist Church. Guess where this one was stolen from? Bethel Baptist Church, Los Angeles, was originally known as East Los Angeles Baptist Church, was organized with 34 members in 1943. Some of the original members belonged to the Northern Baptist Church, but followed the pastor J.O. Finn in the organization of a Southern Baptist Church. Finn resigned in 1944 and was succeeded by D.A. Dalby, who served for about 1 year before resigning and accepted the pastor of the First Baptist Church in Bell Gardens. 1947, the pastoral call went to John S. Ashcroft, a graduate of Ohita Baptist College in Arkansas and Southern Baptist Theological Seminary in Louisville, Kentucky. And he came to California as a home mission board summer worker. They would come and they send their preachers out here and they go into established churches and areas and they take them into the Southern Baptist Convention because they said, oh, you're anti-missionary if you don't follow us. So that's what's going on now. This one was Northern Baptist. The other one I just said was Northern Baptist. And they took the churches. By the spring of 1953, the church had a constructed beautiful auditorium with a seating capacity of large enough for 500 worshipers. Missions had been established, which had become First Mexican Baptist Church of East Los Angeles and First Baptist Church of San Gabriel. Los Angeles Bible Baptist Church. Bible Baptist Church. The Bible Baptist Church in Los Angeles was organized in January 1953. Now, what is the difference between a Bible Baptist Church, a Missionary Baptist Church, and a Southern Baptist Church? See, I'm beginning to try to teach you that what these Baptists, so-called Baptists, teach. Now, Baptist churches are congregational by rule. Real Baptist churches. Your Northern Baptist churches are not. They're ruled by presbytery. And the Southern Baptist churches are ruled by boards sometimes, and somewhat congregational. They won't completely get rid of that. The congregation okays what the board puts before them. And then we come to the Bible Baptist. Now the Bible Baptist, the preacher is called of God, they say, and he is the boss of the church, and what he says goes in that church, regardless of what the people say, until God is finished with him and moves him someplace else. Well, that's not what the Bible teaches. Bethel, Los Angeles Bible Baptist Church. The Bible Baptist Church in Los Angeles was organized in 1953 with 38 charter members. Their pastor was Homer R. Reagan. Their church grew out of a Bible class which started meeting on Monday nights in 1950. Weekly meetings were held in Wedding Chapel on Vermont Avenue in Los Angeles, and in the spring of 1951 the group started having regular Sunday school services, which continued until December 1952, in which time a group let it be known that they would be organized as Southern Baptist Church to affiliate with the Los Angeles Association and the State and Southern Baptist Convention. Now this is a Bible Baptist church. They received a warm welcome by the Southern Baptists in Los Angeles. Now, did they have scriptural baptism? Who knows? They didn't ask that, did they? All that matter is people, money. People, money. That's what the Southern Baptists look for. People and money. When I was pastoring at Southern Baptist Church, the one time, every spring, they would tell us, you make those people tithe. You tell them to sign a piece of paper that they're going to tithe. That was a big deal. This was stewardship. Tithe, tithe, tithe. Yes, you ought to tithe. But I'm not going to make you sign a piece of paper that says to that church you're going to tithe, because then they said, well, you said this to God and you can't break your word. You've got to do that. They received a warm welcome by the Southern Baptists in Los Angeles and assisted in the organization of the church on New Year's Eve in 1953. It called Homer C. Reagan, who had taught the Bible class out of which it grew. The Los Angeles Chinese Southern Baptist Church. Los Angeles First Mexican Southern Baptist Church. Los Angeles First Southern Baptist Church in Lincoln Heights. This was stolen from the Northern Baptists. Again, the First Southern Baptist Church in Lincoln Heights was originally affiliated with the Northern Baptist Convention. where it enjoyed fellowship from 1906, until it changed its affiliation in 1948 by agreeing to cooperate with the Southern Baptist Convention. Did they ask them about their baptism? That's a whole church. The first pastor of the church became affiliated with the Los Angeles Association, and the state of the Southern Baptist Convention was C.S. Lucas. Then Ben N. Hill. And then Arthur Brown became pastor. Brown was succeeded by L.D. Bell. When the church members' internal strife and dissatisfaction with the program, coupled with opposition, have resulted in decline in membership. Some of them wanted to be Baptist. The latest report indicates that the membership is less than half what it was when the church changed its convention affiliation. It gives very little to world missions. That's one thing. They give very little to world missions. Los Nietos Mountain View Baptist Church in Whittier. All right? And then we have Linwood Trinity Baptist Church. I believe I preached in Linwood when I was going to the seminary. The movement eventually became Trinity Baptist Church in Linwood and became as Broadman Baptist Church, which is organized in the middle 40s of the city of Huntington Park. Lee Porter was the pastor. And this goes on and tells about it was reorganized and started reorganized. Then we have Manhattan Beach. We have Montebello. We have North Redondo Beach. We have Norwalk, and I preached in the Norwalk Church. Paramount Baptist Church. We have the Pasadena Lamanda Park Baptist Church. We have Rosemead Country Church of San Gabriel Valley. We have Rosemead First Southern Baptist Church. We have Southgate First Southern Baptist Church. And the Southgate Church was another Northern Baptist church. Let's go and look at this. Now they said, we don't steal churches. Oh, they don't. Okay. The First Southern Baptist Church in Southgate was organized January the 18th on my birthday with 139 charter members, a result of an orderly split. The result of an orderly split. In the First Baptist Church, which has through the years cooperated with what now is the American Baptist Convention. Many of the members, however, were from churches in South and Midwest and were never entirely satisfied with the program of the American Baptist. When the church was organized, the pastoral call went to Cecil C. Brown. He was 13 years pastor of the First Baptist Church of Klamath Falls in Oregon. This guy is a more sound person now. He was serving as a general missionary in the Home Mission Board and the Baptist General Convention of Washington. The congregation gave more than $150 a month to missions. This is real important. They wrote it down, you know. South Whittier First Baptist Church was organized in 1952. It started out in a single-car garage. And they ended up in a tent. And they finally ended up getting a house. The Temple City First Southern Baptist Church. And then we have the Torrance Crenshaw Baptist Church. Now, the Crenshaw Baptist Church in Torrance was organized September 1952 with 24 members. The church grew from a 10-month-old mission sponsored by Nairborn Avenue Church in Lomita. The pastor was Harvey A. Hobbs, was called at the organization meeting. Services were held in the home of one of the members, and 3 months later, a building was purchased which was in a district not zoned for churches. A Catholic family whose property joined the church raised some strong objection that the property was sold and a new location purchased which provides sufficient room for the growth. Many times in California, the Catholics, the Northern Baptists, and the Methodists, the Presbyterians, all these tried to stop Baptists from coming into their areas. Torrance, Keystone Baptist Church. the Venice Emmanuel Baptist Church, the Whittier Greenleaf Avenue Baptist Church, Wilmington Bethel Baptist Church. Bethel Baptist Church in Wilmington was first known as Island Avenue Church and was organized in 1951. The congregation grew out of a mission established by Keystone Baptist Church in Corinth. The first pastor was Romy E. Black. Black was basically a missionary Baptist. He resigned after 3 months. E.T. Scarberry. So far the church has not secured anybody its own building, nevertheless contributes to some income to the world missions. They didn't care who organized with them. Now, I preached in this church in probably 1971, 72, quite a few times. They wanted to call me as pastor. I did not go. But this is the church that I preached in. Midway Association, Belico First Southern Baptist Church. That church was established in 1938, so guess what? It was a missionary Baptist church when that happened. Because missionary and Southern Baptist churches, they use the same name. First Southern Missionary Baptist Church. Chowchilla First Southern Baptist Church. The Crow's Landing First Baptist Church at Crow's Landing. Delhi First Baptist Church. The First Southern Baptist Church in Delhi was organized January 1945 with 19 members, and the congregation was known as Delhi Baptist Church. At its membership, several landmarks. These are missionary Baptist landmarks. Therefore, it did not seek affiliation with the local district association and state convention until they were weeded out. They had to get rid of the landmarkers, the real Baptists out of the church before it would go into the Southern Baptist Convention. So guess what? That church was stolen. The congregation has given little money to designated objects by Southern Baptists. Makes no contribution to missions through cooperative program. That's real important in their histories. Dos Palace. Dos Palace. Emmanuel Southern Baptist Church. Fireball. First Southern Baptist Church. And there they have W.I. Venable, which was an old missionary Baptist, and he worked in that church for quite a while. The Fireball Silver Creek Southern Baptist Church. The Gustine First Baptist Church. Now, in this Gustine Baptist Church here, let's go back. I want to read a little bit about this, and we're going to look at the good, the bad, and the ugly in all this. The First Baptist Church in Gustine started as a mission organized with the First Southern Baptist Church in Patterson. In February 1946, Eugene Greenfield was mission pastor. He worked with the mission for 6 months and resigned in order to return to school. He was succeeded by Bernard Matthews, who led an organization of the church in 1946 with 9 members, and was pastor until February of the following year, when he succeeded by James Williams. Jimmy Williams I knew. Jimmy Williams stayed 3 or 4 months and resigned. The church was without pastor from 1947, and then Walter L. Phillips started, which I'm probably not related to, became the pastor. Phillips studied at Golden Gate Seminary and served as pastor until 1949. When he resigned the church, he called Marvin Harris, and under whose leadership a building site was purchased on the corner of Elm Avenue and Highway 33. A Catholic-dominated city government refused to let the church build on the site. Therefore, he had to sell it and look for another site. In the meantime, Harris resigned and H.W. Bell was called, whose leadership the property was sold and a new site purchased in Sycamore Avenue. The city dads granted use permit in a few weeks, and the church issued Broadway bonds and proceeded to build. The congregation held services for the first time in a rented Seventh-day Adventist building. Nevertheless, the faithful militant members shared their liberality with world missions, and they look forward to owning their own church. Los Banos Church, Mendota Church, Ora Loma Church. Patterson First Southern Baptist Church was a missionary Baptist church, by the way. Their first Southern Baptist church in Patterson was organized with 10 members. It was known first as the First Southern Missionary Baptist Church. No congregation sponsored its organization. In other words, it was started by a missionary. Their first pastor was A.J. Bird, and this guy is a missionary Baptist. He's served to 1943, Arthur Sutton, and then W.J. Venable. Venable is an important name in church history, in pioneers. H.L. Wyatt and Carter Ramsey and Walter Brown, Arthur Sutton, Byron Todd. Todd taught school and pastored the church for 9 months. When he resigned, a congregation called Aaron Urick, who was a pastor for 1 year, and then Terry Wingler has been the pastor since 1950. And Terry Wingler's leadership to church has done considerable building and gained a permanent place in the community. The Patterson Church has established congregations in Gustine and Crow's Landing. Here we go again now, we have Turlock. West Avenue Church, Turlock, was organized with 11 members by Leonard B. Siegel. Leonard B. Siegel was an old missionary Baptist, and he founded 40+ churches, who at this time was starting and cooperating with the Interstate Baptist Mission, which numbered in its consistency a few churches in California and several in Washington and Oregon. The church was originally known as Temple Baptist Church, but was affiliated with the Southern Baptist Movement. At the time, the name was changed to the First Southern Baptist Church. It was a missionary Baptist church before. And a lot of times Siegel was sound in his doctrine, but he would go in and lead churches into the Southern Baptist Convention, which is okay, but there was a lot of problems because they were accepting alien immersion and open communion. Mojave Desert Association. Now, Sharon, that's getting close to you. The Barstow First Southern Baptist Church. The pastor of the local Congregationalist church, who paid him a visit to inform him that by accommodative agreement between Baptists, they were not to organize a church in Barstow. They told the Southern Baptists that, and of course these were missionary Baptists right out with him. But he told that the Baptists didn't belong to the Federal Council of Churches, and therefore there was not bound by any accommodative agreements entered in between the Northern Baptists and Accommodative Commission and the Federal Council of Churches. It is also interesting to note that in some years before the Southern Baptists attempted to organize a church in Barstow, Mexican Baptists wanted to organize but were informed that they could not organize a congregational church. They could only organize a congregational church. They would not let them organize a Baptist church. Barstow, Grandview Church, Lancaster First Southern Baptist Church. That's I preached over here. I remember there. First Southern Baptist Church, Lancaster, grew from a mission of the First Baptist Church in Mojave. 1952. There are several churches in Lancaster now. 2 missionary Baptist churches, 2 landmark missionary Baptist churches. Mojave, First Baptist Church in Mojave. Grew from a mission from the First Southern Baptist Church in Tehachapi. The first pastor was Allen G. Collier, and then he was succeeded by Barber, and then Foy King, and the building was practically completed. Some vandals broke into it and systematically wrecked it. Sunday school and other literature was torn up. The Bibles were ripped into shreds. Communion glasses were broken on the floor. And if that wasn't enough, the culprit smeared several pounds of mimeograph ink and ceramic paint on the walls and the carpets. They didn't like a Baptist church in that area. Needles, boy, this took a real pastor to go to this place, because Needles is hot as purgatory, so to speak. The First Baptist Church in Needles was organized in 1941. First pastor was Brantley. He served for 10 years. So all the years Brantley's leadership, the church gave to missions every month. even though most of the time they worshiped in a rented building located hundreds of miles from any other Southern Baptist church. The church called James Clark. Now we go to Ridgecrest, Maryland. You remember the Ridgecrest pastor? He was up there with us at the church camp meeting in Taxby right after we got married. Ridgecrest Emmanuel Southern Baptist Church. The Emmanuel Southern Baptist Church in Ridgecrest was organized December the 27th, 1948. The organization was the result of a split in the church that had been organized in Ridgecrest some years before, but had through the years been infested with landmarks, missionary Baptist, true Baptist. This church I have preached in also. The first pastor was Arthur New, and he started the building and led in the split and organized the China Lake Baptist Church. Since the organization has been somewhat removed from other churches, it is doubtful if anyone knows the full story. I do, because I knew Brother Baker here and his whole family. Brother Baker's daughter was one of my church members at one time when she moved to Bakersfield. The Taxby First Southern Baptist Church was organized with 8 members in 1942. The present membership is 167. That's in the 1950s now. Sharon, you've gone to this church, I believe. Yeah. A call was extended to E. Loving. Now this Loving is the one that worked in Bakersfield, which started the church, one of the churches that went into Valley Baptist Church. He was preceded by R.E.Q. and then Hucks and then Alexander and Chamberlain and Wilkes. The Tehachapi Church did not grow from a mission, but rather sprang from a women's missionary society which was organized in the community by Baptist women. The First Baptist Church in Mobley grew from a mission established by the church in Tehachapi. The church building suffered minor damage in the earthquake in 1952. Now, I was in that earthquake. That was a bad earthquake. I was in Bakersfield, east of Bakersfield, and boy, it shook the place apart. Threw all the water out of the canal. The members, a small girl who belonged to the Sunday school, was killed in the quake. Following the quake, the First Baptist Church of Chattanooga, Tennessee, where Tehachapi's pastor was ordained, contributed enough money to pay all the indebtedness on the property. We'll quit right there for this class. But this little girl, you know, they didn't have very many deaths in this earthquake. It was a very horrendous earthquake in 1952. I lived a little east of Bakersfield, on the outskirts of Bakersfield, and I lived in a one-room shack that had a dirt floor and tin roof, and we lived within about 75 feet of the canal bank. And the canal bank just went like this all over the place. It threw all the water out of the canal bank, and out in our backyard was crawdads crawling around all over the place and fish flopping everywhere. There were places up in Tehachapi where the ground split open. It was hundreds of feet deep. Maryland, I'll just tell you a little story about Maryland for a minute. Maryland was in the coast with her dad when this took place. And Marilyn was a very shy girl. She was basically imprisoned by her family. She was not allowed to have friends or anything. But she was going to go back to the farm with her dad, and they stopped there at Parkfield. What was the name of that restaurant, Marilyn? In Parkfield.
You mean going over to the coast?
Going over to the coast. You were coming back from the coast to go to the farm. Well, anyway, it was a great big U-shaped dining counter, and Marilyn and her followers sat up there, and she ordered some toast, and all the guys were after Marilyn. All of these cowboys out there were tall sacks of toast and their coffee. They said, "Don't talk to her, go talk to her, go play that song, ask her to dance," all this kind of stuff. They were after you, and your father wouldn't protect you at all, would he? He said, "Talk to me, Dad, talk to me, Dad." He wouldn't say a word.
I said, "Talk to her."
Yeah.
The seat next to me was empty.
Yeah.
And that cowboy, they told him, "Well, talk to her."
You were a very pretty girl in 1952. Anyway, that's how we're going to end that. But you went there. the house on the farm was that all the doors were shuck open. Some of the wells were destroyed and all kinds of stuff on the farm. It was a really bad earthquake. All we had to deal with, we had a shack there. It just moved around on the ground. We scooted it across there on pipes out of a bull corral, out of this old thing, and we actually, my grandmother and grandfather were living in a bull pen in this shack that didn't even have a door on it. It had a tarp for a flap, and the bulls were running into the shack and fighting out there going on. My grandmother would get out there and beat him with a broom or a mop or something. Anyway, they scooted it and they built a fence to keep the bulls out of there. Anyway, it shook all the water out of that canal. Tore up a lot of things, but a little girl in the Sunday school class was killed.
That place you're talking about was close to where James Dean
Yeah, close to where
passed
James
away.
Dean was killed. Yeah, that was the Parkfield, or the old restaurant. Your dad is a picture of your dad in that restaurant riding a motorcycle there in 1912. I think it was, or 1912.
Her brother, his brother.
Yeah, him and his brother. Father, we send this message out and about church history. We remind us every day your word does. You said that Matthew 16:18 that the gates of hell will not prevail against the church. That didn't mean it didn't try, because we can sure see it within and without. Father, just thank you for watching after those people, that some were dedicated to the truth, like old Doug Pointer. I thank you for him in my life. I thank you I get to hear his voice one more time today. Please, Father, forgive me where I fail you. In Jesus' name I pray, and use your word wherever it goes.